Hey guys, I'm here today to talk to you about Tami Matheny's book called This Is Good. This is going to be part one because there are so many nuggets in here. I'm going crazy. I got up to chapter 6 and I was thinking if I talk about the whole book, the video is going to be an hour long, which I don't. I've been trying to keep them shorter, like little sound bites. So I took some notes and I'm going to refer to them while I'm talking to you. And why should you listen to me? Hey, I'm Melanie from Parenting High Schoolers, and I hop on YouTube once a week and talk about things that are important to parents of teenagers. What do I know? I mean, I'm just a mom, but I do have two boys that are in their 20s and I have one that's 17. I'm not an expert. My husband's not an expert. Our kids aren't perfect. But I am just on here sharing things that might help you in your journey as you try to master the art of parenting teens, which is, it's a journey. There's really nothing else to say about it. It's fun. It's frustrating. It's happy. It's sad. It's all the feels. So anyway, I am going to talk to you about this book called This Is Good. And oh my gosh, it is so good. She starts off the book. So first of all, who's Tami Matheny? Let me talk about that. She is the owner of Refuse to Lose Coaching. She's the author of several books. She's a mental skills coach. She assists people in all walks of life, not just athletes, improve their confidence, focus, motivation, mental toughness, leadership, teamwork, etc. This book she wrote about an experience that she had with a soccer team at Belmont. I think it's Belmont College, might be university. Anyway, want to know more? I'll put the link to the book below when I'm finished with this one. But anyway, I think it's going to probably be a 3-part series because, oh my gosh, she's got so many sound bites. So now I'm going to tell you what it's about. She starts off with an African folktale called This Is Good, or I guess the theme of it is This Is Good. I'm not going to tell you what the folktale is because that would give it away, but she came across this folktale years ago and has used it as her mantra ever since. A lot of the things that she's writing about have to do with this team and sports and motivation and focus and all of that. But all of these lessons are applicable to all of us, really, not just teens, not just parents, but everybody across the board. She tells little vignettes, little stories. There's another story called The Oak Tree and the Palm Tree, and it talks about, the oak tree has the reputation of being strong and sturdy and, thick and healthy. And then there's the palm tree that's thin and bendy. Well, which one survives in a storm? Well, actually, it's the palm. It's in hurricanes and it blows almost to the ground and back. And it's based on the root systems and the fact that it's flexible. So she talks about that. But once you get into this, here are some sound bites that she gives. So first of all, what you focus on grows. And that is such gold. And I'm going to talk about more about what she talks about and explain why that is so true. What you focus on grows. What does that mean? Belief, I'm just reading, a lot of these are direct quotes from her book. Belief is the confident assurance that what we hope for is going to happen. I guess that the soccer team had 2 years where their season ended in PKs, which if you've had a kid play soccer, which most of us have, that means that the game was tied at the end of standard time, and then they had to go into penalty kicks. And 2 years in a row, this Belmont team of girls lost to the same team both years in penalty kick. This next 3rd year in a row, Matheny is a mental health coach, and so she decides to really embrace all that she's teaching, all that she's learned, and really help these girls make a difference, especially for the senior class. They choose to embrace adversity, and what that means is to make it your best friend, to look for opportunity during adversity. Again, we could apply this to real life. Is something happening in your teen's life that is just sucking? It's crappy. It's awful. What piece of gold can they find out of that? What is going on that is good? You gotta look for the good somewhere. It may be hard to find and it may take a while, but look for what is good during that time. All right, and she has a formula called unity plus positive emotions equals success. And so positive emotions, quote unquote, is focus plus confidence. So let's talk about that. Often we allow our emotions to determine our focus and level of confidence instead of our focus and our confidence creating a desired emotion. If you can control your focus, which takes time, it takes effort, it takes energy, but if you add your focus and your confidence, you're going to be more present-minded and experience more positive emotions. So in other words, if you're focusing on that last basket that you missed in a basketball game, you're not focusing on the present moment. Or if you are, and I think I'm using these from her book, if you are winning in a tennis match and you're worried about keeping that lead, you're focusing on the future and not the present moment. So really, she is encouraging players, teammates. I'm encouraging parents and teens, focus your emotion and put your focus towards the present moment. Don't worry about what happened yesterday. Don't worry what's going to happen about tomorrow, but let's keep it with today. What can we control today? So I'm going to go back a little bit because one thing she said is in this whole thing is relationships are greater than championships. As a teammate, as a family member, as a parent, as a child, we need to remember that our relationships are so much more important than a championship. It doesn't matter if you're the number one team in the state and you lose. What relationships did you form? How did you help your teammates? How did you help your son or your daughter? Were you positive? Were you encouraging? Were you not nagging them? And then teens, how are they helping their siblings? Are they focusing on school? Are they doing the best that they can in that moment? There's a couple other things I'm going to skip over just because they don't go well with this talk, but just know that every single page I was practically writing stuff down. To go on about focus, it says, this is a quote by Akarak Brost, I don't know. Focus on what you can do, not on what you can't. So it goes back to that focus again and focusing on the moment right now. So if you're in class, if your teen is in class and they're struggling, focus on what they can do. Can they go ahead and take notes even though they don't understand what's going on? Yes. Can they ask questions? Yes, that's something they can control. Can they make an appointment to speak with a teacher or a counselor depending on what the situation is? Yes. Can they ask you for help at night? Yes. But a lot of us, parents included, we get frustrated, we get confused, we don't understand, and we give up, put our pencil down. Well, if you don't have the notes from the day, it's not going to help you tomorrow, and it's not going to help build on the knowledge that you got yesterday. Each of us need to focus on what can we do now, even if we don't understand or we are confused. Here's another little nugget. The ability to focus on what you need to do in the moment, like I said a minute ago, enables you to master your mind. When you master your thoughts, you can do anything. So again, by taking notes in a class where you're completely lost and don't understand anything, if the teacher's writing stuff on the board and your teen is writing it down, that is taking control of that moment. That is knowing that even if they don't understand, that probably what the teacher's writing on the board or talking about is important. So we need to remind ourselves and our teens to control what they can. If they're at practice and there's a new skill and they just aren't getting it, keep practicing. Ask the coach to break it down. Like what would be in track, I know like they break down the sprint, the start. You start with your foot position and you start with where your weight is balanced in your position. And then you start with the push off. And so each thing builds on the next. So if you have a team that is getting frustrated in class or with a sport, they need to break it down to the very basic element or do what they can. If they're not hitting right now in baseball, my son played baseball, so that's where a lot of this comes from. He would go outside and he would swing hundreds, thousands of times because every swing counts and every muscle memory event for sports is so important. Control what you can. All right, here's another little nugget about focus. If we can't control something, our focus needs to shift to what we can control. I keep saying that. Or to what we can do to change, minimize, or improve what is happening. So that's where your child could ask for help. They could make an appointment with the teacher. And this is something that our teenagers need to get used to doing because when they go to college, if they go to college, they're going to need to know when do they need help. and to be able to do that. This is something you could role play with your student if they're really uncomfortable, if they're really unsure. But you know what? They need to know how to do this. If they don't go to college, they're still going to know. They're going to need to know how to go to their supervisor when they have a concern, when a coworker is not doing something right, when they see something is broken, a piece of machinery or whatever. They need to be able to talk to adults in a fashion that is respectful and helpful to themselves, because that's just a life skill. All right, negative emotions. So positive emotions are, if you remember, focus and confidence. Negative emotions come from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, and I talked about that a minute ago. So here are 5 things to do in this situation, and these are straight out of Tami's book. Recognize thoughts that are not helping you be successful. Stop those thoughts. Have a stop button. Example, use a rubber band and pop myself. Maybe take a deep breath and stop your brain. The key is to stop the current thought. Challenge these thoughts. This is number 3. Step outside yourself and ask yourself how you need to change this focus. Number 4, shift the focus to something that will be more productive to you. And number 5, focus on your strengths. All of those are great pieces of advice. So I will do part 2 and part 3 of this in the next few weeks. So be looking for that. Thumbs up for my video. And I would love it if you would push the subscribe button and listen to my other videos. I am here all the time. I love to help parents of teens. And I would love it if you would share any of my videos that you think are helpful. Have a good day.